Hey, how you doing? Just a quick tutorial just around yoga mats. I have a couple of different ones that I use. I have one that's always set up at home, and this is a slightly thicker one just in case I stay a little longer in Shavasana, or if I'm doing a yoga nidra. And this one's a recycled rubber mat and it has a jute finish, and I really like it because it's non-slip, and I just really enjoy practicing on it. My first yoga mat that I ever had was just a simple, I think I bought it at a yoga studio. It's like 12 bucks. It was nothing too special, but it became very special to me after a couple of years. It was all the sweat and tears and journeys and lessons, I think, that were instilled in that mat. The other two that I do have one for teaching, that stays in the studio. The other two that I have, this is my class mat. So it's a fairly lightweight mat. This one's actually a mukti mat. It's fairly lightweight, but it does roll up, and it's a really good surface, actually, non-slip, and I really enjoy working out on that. I have travelled with it quite a bit, and then this is my actual travel mat, and this one it's particularly lightweight. It's really, really thin. It does have, it's from Yoga Lab, but it's actually washable. So I can stick this in the washing machine, and it also doesn't mind being folded up. So like while I'm using it, it does get rolled up, but it's literally, it's a 2mm mat, so it's really, really thin, but great if you're traveling and you're practicing in other yoga centers, or like if there's a carpeted surface, you can roll it out straight on that. It's not so pleasant if you're rolling it out on a slate or a hard floor, or grass, for example, because you will get more lumps and bumps in it than, say, a heavier duty mat. But I love traveling with this. It is a really, really easy mat to travel with. It's worthwhile investing in a mat that you love, that you're going to jump on every time. You build a connection with that mat. It's like having a relationship with this little special mat that you've got. So it is important to invest in it. And if you're going to travel with that mat, do get one that you can roll and wash. There's loads of different options online. I always try and choose something that's a little bit eco-friendly as well. Loads of patterns, different colors, etc. But it is really worthwhile investment in your practice to invest in a yoga mat. The other thing that I do think is of importance are yoga blocks. So yoga blocks present to us possibilities, what we might be able to do. So sometimes just in triangle pose, for example, if the hand's not fully reaching to the floor and we put the block and then all of a sudden we get some stability, we might be able to elongate the underside of the ribs, or extend the hip away and get a little bit more length and get a little bit more depth into the posture. And also it enables us to test out some new strategies, or how am I going to get to that position. So blocks are a very, very handy tool, and they will come in handy throughout our tutorials as I use those in different postures. And they might not just be for, say, supported bridge, for example, is a really great posture to use that in, and you've already seen that possibly in one of our tutorials on stretching for the psoas. So you can use these at different heights. So this is its lowest height, and then we move to a mid height, and then a little bit higher, and you can move those. You can use two together, all sorts of different ways to stack the blocks. You can buy these fairly inexpensively. I purchased these online. You can get a yoga wheel if you're going to do some heart opening work. Some back bending can also be super duper helpful. I do have one of those, and I love doing heart opening work on the wheel, and also fantastic core strength exercises, and we might introduce that a little bit later, but it's not something that you need to run out and get. At the end of the day, it's about you and your mat. So, and sometimes if you're out on the grass, you don't even need that. Blocks, I'm keen on these little babies. I like them a lot. Can be very helpful. But if you don't have blocks, like tea towels wrapped around a cookbook, or a couple of towels, bath towels, you know, going to potentially, or a blanket, can potentially do the same thing. I also have yoga blankets, so that, you know, or a sarong, so that if I am in Shavasana and I need to grab that real quick and put that weight over me, it actually feels really lovely feeling rested with that weight on you. So that's just a couple of tips around what kind of things that I set myself up with. Nearly forgot the good old yoga strap here. Super duper helpful as you get into you know, some of your stretching exercises. If you can't reach the toes, you can wrap that around, and we'll show you some variations through our different tutorials on that. And then I have a drum. It's obviously an essential part of yoga training. No, it's just a bit of fun. It travelled all the way back from India with me. That and a really beautiful hand pan drum. So you might get to meet those at some stage during our tutorials. Anyway, that's all for me right now. Yoga mats, yoga blocks, you and your breath. That's all it really needs.